All right. Good evening and good night, and welcome to the HR Perspective Talk Show podcast. We're back at it again. Today is February 12th, 2025. My name is David, aka Kimba, aka Christian. Bingy Soup is still on special assignment. Just some housekeeping here. We are live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 p.m. AST for 1 hour. We're coming to you live from the beautiful island of St. Croix, Virgin Islands. This stream tonight is coming to you via live stream. Check out live stream for your streaming needs. Links are sent through Facebook and YouTube. You can go on Facebook and see us there under my personal profile. We're also streaming it through the Facebook page called Live from the Virgin Islands, and it's also on YouTube. Just search for It's Your Perspective Talk Show podcast. Like, click, comment, and share. We're trying to get our subscribers up on YouTube and continue with likes on Facebook. As I like to always say, our prayers and his blessings. When you put it all together, you get one perfect love, man. So as we roll on here, this is episode 490. And as you can see that scrolling on there, we have a special guest in the studio tonight. Her name is Johnna Bermudez-Ruiz. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you did. You did. Hey,
Okay,
David.
perfect.
How are you?
Thank you so much for tapping in with us tonight. As I said before we started, I thought what you're doing with this new documentary is rather interesting. And you are the head person, the leader of Cane Bay Film. This is your baby, and
Yeah.
I guess you've put together a documentary that you're putting out throughout the public. So tell us a little bit about yourself to start here.
So Cane Bay Films is actually a dedication to my grandmother, Paquita, who is actually featured in our flyers that we're promoting. Sugar Pathways is a documentary I produced a few years back. It showed in Congress and red carpet event at the governor's house. It's been in many lectures throughout the nation and internationally. But Cane Bay Films is really special to me. I named that company a few years back because it has Cane Bay has such great memories. My parents had a grocery store in La Loma in Montbijou.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are so connected to the North Shore, to La Valley, to the Cacohum Passe, Montbijou, and everything from the north side of the island. Um, and the fond memories of my grandmother, my parents, my siblings, my sisters, my cousins, all of us barbecuing in Cane Bay. And I love to swim. So for me, it always was like, hurry up, eat. And then it was like, nah, you got to wait 30 minutes and come down so you don't so you don't like, I don't know, sink in the water because you just ate. So Cane Bay is my heart. Although I'm a West Side swimmer, but it's a special place for me, Cane Bay. Um, and this particular film, I've done other documentaries and other short films and music videos and stuff for nonprofit work. I like to do a lot of stuff that's around social justice, social humanity, and into climate change and human beings. And we're working on a feature film, which is a workforce training program that I'd like to talk to you about. But um, I think for Sugar Pathways, it is a labor of love. It's a documentary that's very relevant right now because of the whole situation that's happening in the nation with migrants. And as you talked about your grandparents that migrated from Vieques here, the film looks very thoroughly at 100 years of history between the United States, Puerto Rico, Vieques Culebra, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. I think that we as Virgin Islanders are quite interesting and unique and authentic. And that brings us together as people. I think that we're a great example of how diversity, inclusivity is works well because it's a product of you and I. Our parents have met here, they're falling in love here. Well, my parents met in Chicago, but my older sister Wanda, who we're celebrating as well, we're celebrating her soon to be open restaurant and lounge, Mini Mimosa, and but she was born in Chicago. My parents met there and came from Chicago to St. Croix. My father's a Crucian, very proud Afro Boricua Crucian. And I believe that why we're doing this event, why I felt that it's very important to show Sugar Pathways and have Sugar Pathways dinner the movie is because of the climate we're in, where I think that I believe strongly that a discussion over dinner, drinks, bubbly wine, to discuss migration, to discuss our culture, our community, and to come together as a community. So we have a lot of people that have not only shown interest, but also have purchased their tickets to attend a great dinner um, and a great film. And so CC1 is our sponsor. Actually, it's bread and butter. So they're providing the wine, the bubbly, and Fuji is one of our sponsors via lottery, via WJKC. Vivid Streaming has come on board. And I'm trying to remember everyone, the VIA Commission, the Virgin Islands Casino Commission as well. I think that some of it has, these sponsors have either been part of just really giving back to the promotion as well and to getting the word out there and the commitment to showcasing our culture, our authenticity. So the event is Sunday, February 16th at 5:30 to 8:30. We're almost full to capacity. We're excited because it's also very grassroots sense. We're taking my sister's space, her courtyard, and creating a screening, a professional screening and a dinner. canebayfilms.com/events is where people can get tickets. That's www.canebayfilms.com/events. And that's my pitch for those who are interested. And I'm excited to hear about your interest and us to do a little talking.
Well, you said a lot there, but let me ask you a few questions. So the name Pathway, Sugar Pathways. I mean, what's the meaning behind that?
I can't take any credit for Sugar Pathways, the name of the film. And the film projects that I do, often enough, somebody else names them. Or I ask, close dear friends of mine. So Roland Robach, who's out in Washington, D.C., who was really wonderful in allowing me to stay in his basement apartment, great apartment in DC, right next to Howard University. I spent about 3 years back and forth between New York and DC, researching all the archives for Sugar Pathways, because ultimately we're showing our community our history, and that history is in the archives. And we've converted a lot of that footage. Some of the film that's in our movie, by the way, was never developed until we developed it. In other words, we paid the National Archives to develop the film in high definition. So where people are now seeing it accessibly online, well, I paid for that. There's certain images that I can point out and say we paid for those developments because they weren't done before. One
Mm.
exclusive one is actually a 1900 footage of women doing quadrille and they're dancing, and it's the opening of the movie. It's very sweet, and so
Mhm.
that was the first time that was actually developed into high definition. They themselves, I know it's because they themselves were saying it. So I practically live in Washington D.C. for 3 years, mostly in Roland Robach's apartment, and he was like, Joanna, I think you should call it Sugar Pathways. And I was like, Sugar Pathways. And he was like, that's how he thought. He's like, yeah, man, because, like the cane and the people and the pathways and the Puerto Rican them and the Papa them. And I'm like, okay, Roland, let's call it Sugar Pathways. He said his case. And he's been a great supporter. And so I'm glad you asked me that, because I think Roland Robach would feel really honored that I feel very grateful. And not only because he gave me the opportunity to be in a place in DC where, I mean, when you're doing research, and if we were documenting the process, his apartment was filled with tons and tons of paper by the stack of information, and all of that was digitized a lot of it was digitized for the movie.
Next question is, how long did it take you to make this?
Wow. Okay. So independent filmmaking is one of the toughest toughest careers and jobs, because if we take the Virgin Islands, right, versus Puerto Rico, if I write like a treatment, which is what I did for this movie, actually wrote the script for the film for this documentary. Um, I can take the treatment and pitch it to a public relations company, and they would. I'm saying this as from my colleagues that explained how it works in Puerto Rico, but Puerto Rico, I'm backing up and saying that as producers in PR and other places, you're actually pitching it to corporations or companies or things like that to get money.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a system where there's film financing in Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and I believe even as far as Trinidad. But the Virgin Islands doesn't have a an actual financing place where I can pitch it to, or any one of us that are interested in filmmaking can pitch our films. There's not a public relations company. You know, we're talking millions of dollars, and so there's not a public company that does that. They're in New York. And so this particular film took me about 10 years to produce. I started off with producing a short film called Vieques and Island Forging Futures. I was in my early 20s, and that particular film went worldwide. I made I made some sustainable money from it through my lectures and through the selling of the film itself.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, it was part of helping stop the bombings in Vieques, because it was used by international and local uh, activists to show the atrocities that were happening as a
Mm-hmm.
result of the bombings and the people. Um, that particular film, you know, I started that, took me a year to finish. Sugar Pathways took 10. Um, why? Because there was no funding for it. And when at the time I was living in New York, and to pitch that this particular film where it was so Virgin Islands based
Mm-hmm.
and really did not have a connection to New York, whereas I would say to grantors and whatnot, well, this is a Puerto Rican story. It's about the diaspora. Um, it did not matter. So we did a lot of fundraising, a lot of fundraising, a lot of grant writing. The Paul Robeson Foundation at the time out of Chicago through the funding exchange program provided us a big grant, a chunk grant while I was here. Hunter College was really the Center for Rican Studies was really the forefront of our entire research and production. They actually made me an adjunct professor, non-lecturing, but just an adjunct professor researcher, so that I can continue doing the work. That's how I was doing the work in DC. And then finally, the Department of Tourism came on board under the Dion administration. They saw the vision, actually, the importance of this film. And because of that particular grant, we actually hired 14 people in the Virgin Islands to work on this documentary. And then we actually raised money in the community. And the community paid for it in a way that is unusual because, you know, we all have a tight budget.
Mm-hmm.
I know that this event is some people for this type of event that we're showcasing. For some, it's not as easy to attend because we're all living on a budget. Equally, we know that we're providing a really special evening to talk like we are right now in detail and to bring ourselves together over food and drinks and exploring my sister's new place, Wanda. And really, I'm really excited about the company that will be with us. There are people flying in from Puerto Rico to attend. And so I think that 10 years of commitment at the time I was very young, and this was such a serious film, and that I think that's an achievement for itself of showcasing the commitment and talent I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that equally it allows us to talk, David, about how film works, right? Because we've been prepping all, and I'll wrap this up with saying we've been this part of your question, but we've been working for the past 3 days on setting up and preparing for a great event and running the film. And we've had community members here in Richmond because we're right where the location is, right next to Olympic Car Rental. So we've had people come in. Last night we were setting up. We were having some pizza as we're working, and we had a community member that sat with us. I was very honored. She got a chance to see pieces of the film, ate with us. That's what this is about. This is about bringing people together, and talking about this project and what we're seeing in the future for filmmaking as well.
Okay. So let me ask you. So it took 10 years, but do you have local actors in the movie? How is that part put
No, no,
together?
no, no. This is no, 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 no. I'm just kidding. But I'm making fun of myself when I say no, no, no. But no, this is a documentary. So we filmed over 42 people. We went to St. Thomas. We spent time in St. Croix. Went to Vieques. We were all over the VI and also Puerto Rico, and I tried my best to cover as much individuals as possible. So there is a set of archives from the level of people we interviewed, right?
Okay.
Um, so the characters are the people themselves. It's our community telling our story,
Okay.
by me, who is from here, who's a native Virgin Islander. My story is that my family has been here for about 100 years. So we migrated here in the 1920s. My great uncle is Candido Guadalupe, who's in the flyer as well. He was a senator. There's a Candido Guadalupe housing up by across from Alfredo Andrews School. My great uncles and great aunts had businesses in Christiansted. Um, Not only were they in politics, but they also were really generous with their money. They were some sort of philanthropists. Really were dedicated to the development community of St. Croix. And what
Mhm.
makes it special for me, and I think my sister, is that where her new location is, which is 102 Richmond, is a one block over from Carido Guadalupe's business. And we spend a lot of time as kids there. There was a lot of parties because we like to party. A lot of parties, a lot of meals, a lot of food. Um, and I think that what my commitment through this project and the work that I'm doing with my workforce training program is to see how we come together, how we kind of let a little bit down our egos and remember our ancestors who gave so much and expected so little, and yet they made so much. It brings me to tears, because I see how we as migrants, because I think we all are migrants. That's one of the poems in the film that's written actually by Maritza Flores, who is a Dominican Republic poet. The movie starts with her poem about how we are all migrants. We're only here on this earth, on this planet, on this island. Like my mother told me the other day, you can be here for a blink of an eye.
Mhm.
And I really took that profound, that in a blink of an eye, anything can happen. And
Mhm.
so I think that we need to look at life a little bit differently, and look at how we are treating each other, look at how we are treating the people that are coming here, for opportunities, and vice versa for those who are coming here for opportunity, also to look at us equally. I think as Virgin Islanders, we are authentic, we're open hearted, we love people, we accept people, and we've been through a lot. And so I think that this is a special opportunity.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that your parents were from Chicago, but they ultimately came here.
No,
And
no, they have a love story that's entirely. My grandmother migrated to Chicago from St. Croix in the 1940s, and my father went to in the 20s from St. Croix to Chicago, and my mom left Arecibo and went to Chicago as well, and they ironically met in Chicago, through my mom taking care of my uncle's, I believe it's my uncle's nieces, and they met, they fell in love, in Chicago, lived in Chicago. My sister was born there, but their roots are Caribbean roots. It's just
Mhm.
that there is a migration story we never discuss about people from the Caribbean going to Chicago.
Mhm.
Other than we know there's a big Puerto Rican community of Chicagoans in Chicago. My grandmother was an originator of Crucians that went to Chicago to work, live, and have a great time as well.
Mhm.
She had no
Okay.
shame and she had no shame in liking calypso and soca. She taught us, she is one of the pillars of our family, and I think why one is an influence for Wanda, as far as and my mother strongly. Those two women's cooking is incredible. It's out of this world. I was a vegetarian. I stopped being a vegetarian because of my mother and my sister's food. Period.
Okay.
I mean, there's nobody else that can do a lechon, a roast pork like Wanda. I can do one, but Wanda is got skills. Her pernil is badass. Her conch is to die for. Her fish, her fried fish. I can eat Puerto Rican food anywhere, and I'm always grateful to come home and eat Puerto Rican food in St. Croix. And that's why I think it's really outrageous because we got Puerto Ricans coming from Puerto Rico to eat Wanda's food and to see the movie, and I'm gonna be watching them to see how they feel about it. I think our family's cooking is exclusive. It's really delicious.
Mm. Okay. Um,
I get
now,
excited about it.
yeah, yeah, I see. Um, so just if I if I wanted to become a filmmaker as yourself, I mean, what how does that whole process kind of work? I mean,
I
what draws you
encourage,
to it?
I encourage the community, right? I encourage the community to back me up in the support that we're seeking for funding to create our film workforce training program.
Mhm.
Cane Bay Film started a workforce program in 2023, was quite successful, and we're doing a 17-week program apprenticeship. Um, and why do I encourage the community to back it up? Because one, you're going to learn the skills that are important to become a filmmaker. And you're going to do it in your home where you're not catching a plane, paying for an apartment, struggling to make ends meet to go to film school. Film school is very expensive. Film school is a 300 could be up to a $300,000 investment and in education. And in the reality is that you still have to go on the field and get work as an intern on a film, and because college is now gone up, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And don't quote me on the 300K, but I'm just saying you're going to pay some serious cash flow to go to film. And so what we're doing is that we are providing a workforce training program, one that's economic development focused, two, it's skill driven, three, it helps with mental health because so we're looking at working with people 18 and over.
Mhm.
Last year we had people from 18 to 60 who, for the 18-year-olds, they were interested in it because they've been training predominantly on YouTube. For
Mhm.
those over 50 had gone to film school but didn't have either the continuation of training or the continuation ability to make films, or it was their second chance. And this plays with mental health, right? Because if you're sitting somewhere in your apartment and you want to work or you want to, upgrade your skills, you're going to start feeling down because we don't have a lot. And
Mhm.
so the program itself, last year we had the 2020s, we had 14 departments. We had electrical, cast, production design, makeup, hair, um, and you're learning it from Hollywood industry makers. So we brought in about, I think, 14 other instructors from Hollywood, whether they were based in Puerto Rico or Los Angeles, and we brought in the state of the art, again, film industry Hollywood equipment. This particular program, for a 17-week program, we're taking my feature film Silent Drift, breaking it down, and our goal is to train about 200 people, and it's a serious apprenticeship. So someone like you who wants to be a part of it, really all has to do is apply to it and just go through the application process. The skills that you're going to gain are enormous, enormous. It will help you with your show. It'll help you again. It will help you with your life because filmmaking is collaborative. When you're making a feature film, you got to work with teams, and working
Mhm.
with teams and education, and it's educative. It's working with teams and skill building. It's a
Mhm.
construction site. So, like right now, we have all these electrical lights running. It's not a pretty sight. it's pretty because you're seeing me and I'm here, but behind me, it is a mess. I mean,
Yeah.
we're actually we come from the astrology of Capricorns where we like things really fixed up and all these like really kind of astrological signs that like things like really nice and tight. So
Mhm.
the cables are nice, everything's laid out safely, but it's really a construction site. We need generators. We need to work with Home Depot. We need wood. It's heavy. So some people look at my muscles and they're like, "Why you don't walk out?" Yes, of course I do. I'm lifting like heavy metal stuff. The cameras are heavy. The tripods are heavy. The equipment is heavy. And like you said earlier, I am the leader. So often enough, I'm telling guys and women, pick this up, take this here, move that here. And at the same time, I'm picking up stuff and moving things. So I think it's a great opportunity for St. Croix. We had people that came from St. Thomas, people that were interested in St. John. We had 7,700 people interested in being in our program.
7,000
You know,
people?
when yeah, as soon as we launched the website, 7,700 people came to our website. Our data does not lie. And
Okay.
we had people from the United States, we had people from as far as Cape Verde, we had people from Puerto Rico. So it was because it's a workforce program that is filmmaking, and a filmmaking school is expensive.
Mhm.
And we know that this is about the underserved, the unemployed, those who are living in home and in low income homes. We're interested in working with our people who need second chances. And
Mhm.
so what we foresee is those who are coming out of high school, they have an opportunity to join our program. And those who are, in that 50-year-old stage have an opportunity to do something extra. And we saw it. We have the credibility. We have the credibility. We have the connections and the industry backing to do this right on St. Croix.
Okay.
So what we're saying is help us by letting everyone know that this is our mission is to diversify the economy through creating jobs where we can create films, and that we basically Cambridge Films is building an institution. So we're just developing the grounds up
Mhm.
right now to have a huge vision for communication and media. That's our goal.
You met anybody famous?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
Well, why?
Just answer the question. You're a filmmaker. There's a lot of filmmakers. I'm sure in the circles that you run, you probably, or it sounds like you have. Just a question. That's all. And you said
Yeah, I
yes.
mean, for example, Lauren Velez, if you love Dexter, if you love the TV show Dexter, if you saw Shaft, if you heard Spider-Man, the animation version of it, well, Lauren Velez is our narrator. I would consider her somebody that I can talk to and call up. David Zayas, who worked also on Dexter, is one of those people that I would come across with. But I mean, film business is like any business. It's like real estate too, in that sense, because with an actor is like a house, and so you're purchasing talent to be showcased in your
Mhm.
movie, and it's no different, and that's why attending the workforce program is great because you get to learn how the industry works, and there's so many commonalities between construction and real estate, as well. And so often enough, that's why sometimes you see actors that are retiring, they end up into going into real estate because there is a lot about monies and percentages that goes into that, and there's always legalities. I mean, it's if you're not working with an attorney and accountant, then you know it's just it's a serious creative business, and it's expensive,
Okay.
but but you end up with a film like Sugar Pathways that shows the world about Virgin Islands history and culture and the Puerto Rican migration, and ends up helping people understand what the role the United States plays with the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. And it shows how we as one come together, how we are lovers of food, lovers of politics, lovers of sports,
Mhm.
Quail Bay and Bomba and Plena. We look at that within sugar pathways, and this particular film has shown over 1,000 people. Um, and that's why it's special to bring it back up again, right? The Nuevo Dia, the leading newspaper of Puerto Rico that has 2.5 had at the time 2.5 million readers, um, reviewed it twice in their newspaper. I was on page 3, which is pretty remarkable for such a big paper. And the Vocero has did quite articles on it as well. Um, so film has legs, and that's what you want. That's why it's economic, also promotion and beauty. This film is absolutely gorgeous. I shot it all myself pretty much, but I didn't say it. Somebody reminded me last night how beautiful the movie is, the documentary, and cinematography is for me is the essence of film. Sound and cinematography are like two good lovers, and they will always have a great relationship. The affair will always be forever.
So,
It will not be separated.
so I would imagine that you've shot hours and hours and hours of footage to nail this down. I think your paperwork somewhere, I think it said this was 50 minutes.
Yeah. So this particular film was the first cut of it was 3 hours long, and I had a focus team. So I have to say that I didn't, to get it short to 50 minutes required friends, families, a lot of people in the community that they know who they are would come into. I had an office in Sunshine Mall. Hatim was gracious enough to allow us to use one of his offices, and we turned that into a post film production office, which is pretty remarkable at the time, given the issues with WAPA, meaning that the power goes off often. It's not a dig to the company. It's just that to create a film 100% this long, this quality of high definition with 14 people all around that had different animation, 2D animation, whether it was just running errands for us, getting us lunch, uh, finding us more archives, translating the film from Spanish to English. There was a lot of work that was done with a lot of different people, and that money was spread. That little grant we had helped a lot of people pay their bills. But the original film was 3 hours long, and that required a wonderful group of people that came once a week to my film office. Um, they were not all friends. They were all professionals in their capacity in their jobs, and
Mhm.
they loved movies. And they sat there and watched it and would give me all these critiques, and I took them very seriously. And that's how we were able to really tighten it up because it was many hours. I spent about 5 years filming.
Okay, wow. I mean, that's somewhat incredible to get it narrowed down to 50 minutes. So let me ask you another question. So on the lower third there, it says internationally award-winning filmmaker. So what? Talk about some of the awards that you've won.
Well, the reason that title's there, and it's also, today's at film festivals, is people pay to get you pay to submit your film, but what happens with the big festivals like Tribeca and Sundance, you actually have a public relations person that is pitching your film and really advocating for your film to be in these big film festivals, or you have major distributors that are advocating for them to be featured because those big film festivals are what I call film festivals are peacock shows because you're not only you're and I've been in many of them, but you're showing your film as because I grew up in the country. I raised peacocks so as a kid, and so and those that was the days, right, where that's what you did. You if you were in the farm, you would work with your parents, and I was my part of my job was taking care of peacocks. So peacocks like to do the whole, fluffy, like I look good kind of thing,
Mhm.
and maybe pick up a mate. Well, films are similar like that. If you have a beautiful film and you have a public relations person or a major studio advocating for your film in these major film festivals, then they're shown. Back in the day when I was doing it and I got into film festivals, it was purely out of no advocacy, no public relations, purely out of my talent, purely out of the merit of that I did excellent work. And that is what got me into these film festivals. My films have been and still are in the British Film Institute, which is pretty big time in the sense that the British Film Institute is basically is funds through their organization major productions.
Okay.
I think they have archived two of my documentaries. The Havana Film Festival, my film was nominated for an award for that. Um, I've won purely out of merit, no advocacy, just submission at the Puerto Rican film festivals. And Puerto Rico is very good at producing some amazing films. So those accolades have come from hard work,
Mhm.
pure talent. Talent sometimes cannot be translated or given to other people. You know, you have to be born with it. But the skill making and opportunities to learn how to get that talent is there. That's why the workforce program is important to me.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Um, so real quick, go over the event, the big event coming up. Talk about the place, the time, and what's going to happen there. Give us the whole shebang about it.
The well, the we have limited seating. We've been working extremely hard to get everything to par. We're out here on the set right now, and as you can see, this is one of the talents, if you want to call them so, that will be featured in our evening. It's Sunday, February 16th from 5:30 8:30. I encourage people to go to Cane Bay. The easiest way is to go to Cane Bay Films website, kbayfilms.com/events, and purchase a ticket there. And I'm really encouraging people to purchase their tickets before the weekend, because we're seeing that they've been selling well, like hotcakes. It's an old school expression, but they've been selling really well, which gives me an honor, especially because it's a weekend where there's ag fair. And one of the reasons I felt that it would be great with my team as we discussed it for doing it on February 16 on that Sunday is because for me, when I go to ag fair, I'm left with a yearning to go somewhere else. I'm left with a yearning of I want to eat that food, but I want to sit down and be somewhere where I'm feeling really wonderful and lovely, and I want to reflect on the culture and the authenticity that we are as Virgin Islanders, as Crucians, as Cruiser Ricans, as however we refer to ourselves, you know, and just to be around people that I love and care for. And so I think that particular evening on Sunday is really about bringing new people and some of my old friends together and some of my new friends and people that are traveling to be a part of this who heard about it and are excited to eat my sister's delicious food that is prepared with so much love by her staff as well, and my mom who's actually participating in making alcapurrias. I last I heard, and she's just my mother's rolling up her sleeve and making a lot of food that is on the menu, and that touches me, you know,
Mhm.
because again, we don't know how long we're going to be here, and so I'm particularly honored to be the host with Yoli Prosser and Alonzo, who's here, and new people and that we've met that have come along. You know, Cane Bay Roots has been here almost every night. Sonia with us, just cheering us on, moving us forward. My sister's been here, her staff. There's been a lot of effort to make this a success for Sunday, and so it's kind of being in the backyard of a home, but it's a business as well. And it's like drinking really good wine if you love red wine, and drinking really good bubbly if you love bubbly. Drinking, my sister's going to make her famous fruit punch for those who don't drink alcohol. There's going to be some sort of vegan dish for those who don't eat meat. But I think everyone that's coming is going to throw down some pernil, they're going to throw down some conch, and watch a really wonderful movie. And we're definitely going to be talking because we need to talk more. We need to share our feelings, our emotions, and relax and enjoy. And bread and butters wine is going to be extremely delicious, um, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to being a part of this really unique. In a way, it's like a soft launch for my sister and her mini mimosa place. That's coming very soon. Um, but
let me
being
ask
in
you a
Richmond,
question, Joanna. So when you say, um, um, you guys are going to sit down and have talks, like
yeah, man.
specifically, this is like
We're
political
well,
talk.
when if you
How
no, I mean we're not like I'm not like that.
it's
Politics is
just like
politics.
it's
No,
just
no,
like
no.
friendly talk.
When you see this movie, you can't help but want to talk about either the nostalgia or migration or how people were forcefully removed out of their homes because of the situation that was occurring in the 40s,
Hmm.
how similar to today, where you have people that are immigrants feeling scared that they're going to be removed from their homes and shipped back to places that they've worked so hard not to be in, whether it's because it's a violent situation or economic situation. That is what happened to us as well back in the 20s and 30s. The Great Depression occurred, and maybe my family, the Marrero family, and the Bermudez family, and maybe those of extended families that we have in Encarnacion, Santiago's, and whatnot. Maybe some of us did not have that so much of an impact
Hmm.
as other families did, and we were able to come to St. Croix and help the community out. While others were working in the Canes, others were starting businesses or had businesses and continue their business here. But we're talking about getting together, nothing like that intense, but getting together and have a nice time and talking about the movie and migration. And we have guests that are representative from the Dominican Republic. We have guests coming from Puerto Rico. We have guests that are coming from the non business community, corporate community. But my ultimate goal is for us to have, as Senator Bagun O'Reilly says in the movie, a more togetherness of this time. So
Hmm.
I'm not in the business of if you know me, I like to have a little cigar once in a while. I like to have my bubbly and, and relax because
Okay,
there's too much intensity.
I got
I'm
you.
not gonna smoke a cigar that night, but maybe on Monday.
So Joanna Bermudez-Ruiz is having a big event on Sunday. It's called Sugar Pathways Documentary Film Screening and Dinner. Come on down. It's you can get the tickets. I guess if you go to the website, help me here, Joanna, canebayfilms.com. I think when I was on there, I think there's a link there that you can click to buy tickets. And this is on Sunday, this coming Sunday, which is the 16th. Yeah, because Valentine's is on Friday, the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Correct, Joanna? Joanna, are you still there? Wow, we've completely lost her. Her screen is frozen. Um, on that note, I just want to say that going out on Sunday after the Ag Fair, check this out. It seems like a good positive event to go to. Seems like a lot of history there. She did it with her team. Joanna is the president, CEO, the lady in charge of Cane Bay Films. She has a training program coming up. Go to the website. All this stuff is on the website about the training program. Just about the company itself and who she is, and she seems like a very passionate person. I wish her all the best on that new documentary coming out this Sunday. All right, so this is the It's Your Perspective talk show every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 p.m. until we're out. We're going to close out here, and let me give myself a little bit more volume here. We're going to close out and say thank you to Joanna. Sugar Pathways documentary, film screening, and dinner is this Sunday. I think it's from 5:30 to 8:30. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Just a lot of good conversation as well. What else? CaneBayFilms.com is the website if you have an interest about going to the event and even learning about what she's calling the workforce training program coming up. Let me see if I can see any dates here in this documentary. In that documentary, let me pamphlet here real quick on this. Yeah, I don't see any dates, but go to the website and check it out, kembefilms.com. My name is David, aka Kemba, aka Christian. Biggie Soup will be back soon, still on special assignment. On that note, we're out. Everybody have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in.